My name is Henry Graham. I live in Denver, Colorado, where I work with different people from all different walks of life through the performing arts at Dance to Be Studios. I grew up dancing since the age of 4 and then later on received scholarships to the School of American Ballet and the Alvin Ailey Year-Round program. I've taken that training and mixed it with a little bit more of a male physical approach, which I find really calls to people's needs in a new way. I'm working with Kari right now, and Kari has a very interesting and incredible story that I felt needed to be shared, and so I wanted to put together kind of a rehabilitation through strength and stretch warm-up, and then taking the story that she has and putting it, rather than through her voice, through her body. Because sometimes you can't speak and you want to let it out. And dance is one of those ways that brings people complete peace and release.
Dance has given me the language of my story in a way where you just have to show up, right? And embody what you're feeling. And sometimes there's places where it's really messy, actually terrible. And you're like, that was awful. And then sometimes you nail it. And I think it's a compilation of all of those practices put together that actually makes the art.
When Henry originally asked me to tell my story and that I would need to practice it and write it down, think about it, practice it in front of the mirror, I did just that. And it fell flat. I didn't feel like it was coming together. I wrote pages and pages. I did voice recordings, and I was so frustrated. I felt so stifled with it. So I'm like, what? I'm trying to figure out how to share it. I think the issue that I came to was my question, and what actually led me here was, Lord, teach me how to live again. And simultaneously, probably never before, but I had become so ingrained and engrossed with the death of my story, almost like I had made a bed with it. I was tired of talking about the sexual abuse. I was tired of talking about the concussions that robbed me of life itself, my personality, job opportunities, years of living a normal life, and not having to manage symptoms. I was tired of talking about my broken engagement. I was tired of talking about the things that felt like consumed me and felt broken. And what I realized was, through dance, I think he truly turned my mourning into dancing. And so this felt like a natural outlet, creative outlet to pursue, that words fell short in expressing what he was doing in me. And what I noticed is that life and death are like a harmonious dance. We can't get away from it, and death is typically the gateway to life itself. And what I realized when I slowly started handing the Lord and surrendering the deaths that had happened and the traumas that had happened that he had shared and shown, was that he was the only one qualified to turn it into life. My counselor couldn't do it, my mentor couldn't do it, my friends couldn't do it, my mindset couldn't do it, my good intention, my moral compass. He was the only one qualified, and he is a keeper of his promises, and each time I gave him the death, he was depositing life into me. And I didn't realize it over my story, right? It just felt like a cyclical thing, like, is anything ever gonna change? And then suddenly I realized that I was changing. Things were happening inside of me. He was actually putting his very broken body and turning it into life. The thing that he promises in communion, like that his meal is enough, his broken body, his blood covers all. And it really was the simplicity of the gospel that I needed to be reminded of, that He was the only one qualified. And so this dance is a part of me creating a sacred space of honoring him in the journey and just worshiping him in the process. I'm sure there will be more deaths in the future, but I have a greater assurance that he's leading me to life in them. And I'm just grateful to be here to carve out these moments that feel really sacred for people to also, beg the question, can I live again? And I hope that I can be a testament to that, that you can.
So dance has been a huge outlet for me. Secretly, I always wanted to dance ever since I was little, but I was super athletic as a little kid and ended up playing lacrosse instead. But I definitely had that split of Zac Efron. I'm oh, actually wanted to be with the theater kids. And so I feel like I'm really living a dream of mine, just being able to dance out my story.
So you were saying that you felt like this was a rite through passage.
Yes, it
How
feels
so?
like a threshold moment.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like heaven's really excited.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it truly is like an unraveling of grave clothes. But to even watch myself evolve, when I first came in and I was timid, and then to end up where I am now, just feeling free and again, a new threshold.